Hey, look, I exist with a face too. But this video has been made in different ways, many different times. In fact, there's a version that exists right before this version, and things just I feel like get derailed, or I get interrupted, and I don't feel like editing it. I just want to kind of speak off the cuff. So some of it has been other guitar videos that I want to get back out there, and maybe I'll splice those together just to show some different riffs or ideas that kind of have been coming out. But I've gone on Twitch, and I'll leave a link in the description as I always do, but also kind of put it up on screen. So that way I can kind of do things that I can't do here. Definitely have some ideas for streaming that will go a longer way. And I might stream on YouTube, but again, with the restrictions, I would probably, you know, keep that straight to just original things that I'm doing, maybe talking like this, which is going to be few and far between. I don't foresee many videos like this with my face in them. I'm not trying to hide my face, just rather focus on the guitar. It's more about the music than it is about me. Um, I need to. My space is a little bit out of sync right now. As I said, I'm going to upgrade it. So I'm kind of in a point where I'm forced to do this. My keyboard right now, the B string. Well, if it was a real piano, it would have a string, but a keyboard does not. But the B, I don't know if it's just dust in the unit and if I should dust it and then that'll bring it back. I feel like there's been times where keys have kind of died and they've come back. It is old, so upgrading things is definitely on my agenda too. Once I get from guitars to computers to cleaning up the files and music that I have is definitely going to be needed, and even in reworking the songs that I'm going to be doing, um, there's definitely going to be, you know, I guess many takes rather than just one take. I mean, nothing's ever one take, but I don't save the takes. I just, redo it over where it's supposed to go. So little nuances might be lost, for better or for worse. But it's really just, you know, trying to get, build some kind of base. I don't want to be, I'm not trying to be PewDiePie. I'm not trying to be Rick Beato. I'm not trying to be things I'm not. Obviously, because those people exist. That market's theirs. And I feel like I want to be my own thing. And the problem is, with the music that I'm writing right now, is I definitely, I don't know if I have my own voice. I'm trying. I don't know if it's like, oh, that's definitely a Sanica song. I can tell. But it's like, oh, no, Sanica sounds like Opeth. No, Sanica sounds like Metallica. No, Sanica sounds like Megadeth. I don't mind if those influences are in there. That's people I grew up listening to. But, I don't want to... Because those bands, you hear them, you're like, oh, man, that's them. I don't know if I'm differentiated, or it's just like, oh man, that kind of sounds like like Metallica Light or Opeth Light. Like that could be their song, but it's not as good as them. But and I felt like I've run into bands like that before, where it's like you definitely know where their influences came from. They sound a lot like them, but they're not writing music as good as the bands that they looked up to. And I definitely could. But I think by yourself it's a little bit hard, or you've really got to, you know, I'd have to really, I think I have to advance more on some things, which I have been, but you really have to sit with it. Try some different things, I have some things that I do, but I don't know. I don't know if I just need someone to discipline me, and that's where I'm looking at, because I have the ideas. I just lacking something, but that's got me thinking. I'll have to come back to that. Hopefully, when it comes to future videos, they'll be coming around, and hopefully this rearrangement of everything will be done soon. The sofa needs to go. Either a new keyboard or fix his keyboard. I definitely want to mix with some tunings. I feel like I'm not getting the heavy sound that I want, and I don't know if that's my fault or what I should do. If it's just the E doesn't sound heavy enough to me, it sounds too Metallica-ish, and I still like Metallica. I'm not going to dog on them, but they're definitely a sound that's been done. They're definitely a sound that, I think a lot of times when people look at, new Metallica, they've definitely changed from what they were, 100%. But even when they kind of go back to doing things that kind of replicate the old sound, it's dated now, and you say it's not as good because things have evolved past them. Other bands have come, for better or for worse. Example being something, I don't hate this band, but they're not my top band, would be Korn. Korn came in using heavier sounds, more dissonant sounds, to kind of spawned the new metal kind of thing, for better or for worse. A lot of people would say for worse, because then we got Limp Bizkit. But it just evolved. I mean, you had the Swedish heavy metal, or melodic death metal, I should say, but then there's just regular death metal. All these other genres kind of came out, from death originally. Obviously, spawning death metal, pushing the boundaries to new heights. Dropping. You got 8-string guitars, which means that you're going to have a low F sharp now playing over, instead of a E. And even if you tune that down to an E, it's way heavier than what you'd hear on a 6-string E. So, tune it up. So, I mean, there's definitely, an evolution that's happened, especially in metal. We can even talk about djent. The different math metal that's out there. It's not all great. I think some of it is very gimmicky. But there are some great bands and talented bands that have come out and definitely do their own thing. I've always felt where my pocket would be not being popular, definitely more metal, but a simplified, not even say simplified, like a complex, I don't know how to say it, like cramming a lot into a small space would basically be the idea, and not just running on. Some of I grew up listening to songs that were, and liking the songs that were 7 to 8 minutes to 9 to even, some Tool songs, Opeth songs run 10 to 11 minutes, and you don't feel like you've been listening to it that long. It's like, oh man, that was the quickest 10-minute song I've ever heard. And that's what I want to write. I want to write stuff that's not boring, that keeps driving, going into a different, interesting direction, which would include modulations, would include a bunch of different ideas. So I'm gonna wrap this video up just to get it out there and finally use this one. It wasn't the best. I don't think any of them were terrible, but I don't know. I just want to put out. I want the videos to be better, and I don't want to do the same thing over and over again, and I don't want to be like other people. So I want to do my own thing. So this is this one. Later.